Our guest today is a nurse, a fitness enthusiast, and a model. He's also the current Mr. World Nigeria. Michael Mazi-Michael, congratulations on your
Thank you
win.
so much. Thank you so much. It's my honor to be here.
Okay, it's also our honor to have you. So tell us, how does it feel being Mr. World Nigeria?
It's been very interesting, to say the least. You know, wherever I find myself, I find out that a lot of people know who I am. People recognize me going out. So that is very interesting to try and navigate. But aside from that, there's also a bit of pressure on it, seeing as I've not had a lot of time, but I've had to prepare for the Mr. World competition coming up next month. So that has been the very stressful part. But aside from that, it's all fun. It's all fun.
Okay, so can you tell us about your journey to acquiring this title?
My journey to acquiring this title, I've always, well, I wouldn't say always, a couple of years back, I had the opportunity to, my mom told me about the Miss World and how Agbani won it and all that. And then a couple of years back, I found out, okay, there is a Mr. World. I'm like, oh, wow, that's something I would love to do.
Okay.
So I kept it in my mind that at some point, if I am given the opportunity, I would like to participate in this and maybe someday be called Mr. Nigeria. And then the rebranding was done, made Mr. World Nigeria. They announced for registration and I saw it immediately and I'm like, that's my opportunity. I told some of my friends prior to the registration that, oh, for the next Mr. Nigeria competition, I would like to enroll. Some people said, oh, wow, that's awesome. I believe you can do it. Some other persons told me, it's going to be a lot. I don't know if you can do it. And I'm grateful for the people that supported me. But the reason I enrolled is because of the people that say I cannot do it. So I came here to prove to myself that I can and also prove to them that, hey, you're wrong.
Well, at any point, were you discouraged at any point at all?
But there's never going to be 100% support on whatever you're doing. Like, even if you're the best person in the world, there's always going to be one person or the other that tells you, nah, I don't think this is for you.
True.
But hey, their opinions, it's all good, but it's their opinions. So I'm here, I'm doing what I like doing.
Okay, so you mentioned that you faced a lot of challenges, especially for this pageantry.
Yes.
What were those challenges faced and how were you able to overcome each of them?
Okay, so particularly the physical aspect.
Okay.
Having to train specifically for some sport. Like, I'm someone that enjoys swimming. I'm someone that enjoys being in the water. But I do that for leisure, right? And then having to be here and do that competitively, I have to say big kudos to the people that swim competitively. It's not as easy as it looks. And then there's some other things, taekwondo, kickboxing. Like, I do boxing also as something I used to clear my mind on the side. But kickboxing is like a whole different ball game. And having to have prepared for that and still preparing for that for the upcoming Mr. World. So those were some of the challenges I faced. And I've learned that as long as, I adapt to things. As long as you keep your mind down, stay focused on what you're trying to achieve, nothing is impossible. Even the word impossible, when it's broken, it says, I'm possible. So that's what it is.
Okay. Is there a moment during the competition that you would never forget? A moment you would never forget?
During the competition, yes. Yes, it was taking an L, particularly the swimming competition. I trained very hard to get here. And I know I'm still not the best, but I wasn't very prepared for the guy that won it eventually. Kudos to that guy. Guy is good. So when it was done, I came out of the water and thought to myself, I lost. That's crazy. So I still have to be very sportsmanly, big congratulations to the person that won. And then aside from that, one of my biggest takeaway from this was the final announcement. When it was announced that I won, there was a surge of emotion. Like, even as a hard guy, I couldn't help. Tears came to my eye. And it was a lot. There were so many things going through my head. There were so many emotions processing at the same time. I don't think I would ever forget that feeling.
So you mentioned some activities done during the process of the pageantry and all. Was there a moment or a time where you felt that you may or may not win?
I'm human, of course. There've been times. There've been things that I do and then I come back and criticize them myself because that's how you get better. That's how you go forward. So there've been some outputs that I put out, maybe some of the tasks that we are requested to do. And when I look back at it after submitting, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be the best work out there. And for someone that is always striving to be the best, to be better at what I do, when I see an outcome like that, after criticizing it, after thinking, oh, people are going to, some of the contestants would definitely do better than this. But then again, I can't let negativity block my mind. So the moment it comes in, it's like banish that thought, you know? So yeah.
Okay, you have a big competition coming this month. What's your preparation towards it? Seeing that you just finished one competition and you have little or no time to prepare for this.
So in a way, I would say similar preparation because most of the things that I had to prepare for the previous one are the same thing, just on a bigger scale. Because now, as I've emerged, you know, the victor at this particular competition in this country, there are other people that have emerged the victor from their own different countries. So I know that I have to up the scale at what I have done already. So that's why it has been a lot more stressful. Like, I feel like, okay, if I was putting out an output of 80, 85% before, now I have to put out an output of 110%, you know, be a lot better at that. So that has been the first thing. And then also, there's a kind of like, I would say, a different mentality going out there now, knowing that here in Nigeria, it's all our own people. As diverse as we are, you must have come across maybe not every, but majority of the ethnic groups or the cultures here. Out there, there's a lot of people I've not even come across. The host country, I don't think I've ever met anyone from Vietnam. So I don't know what their mentality is like. I've been doing a bit of research to see how to interact with them in a way that, because you know, it's not necessarily about what you do, it's about how other people perceive what you do. So it's just to do what I do and make sure that it's not opposing what their beliefs or their cultures are. So those are part of the things that I've been preparing for.
Okay. In the previous competition, you mentioned taekwondo.
Yes.
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing.
What other activities, and not just what other activities did you do, but then what other activities would also be taking place in this? Of course, you must have an idea of.
Yes, I have.
So, what are these other activities?
For one, there's going to be arm wrestling, some kind of arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling?
Yes, arm wrestling. Because as much as they are trying to bring out someone who is mentally sound, someone who is emotionally the best, they also need someone who is physically strong. Like when you look at the definition of what a man should be, we want a man that is a man. You know, a man should be strong. A man should bring that protective side. A man should bring that emotionally stable side. So when you talk about the strength part, it's going to be a lot of strength exercises there. So those ones like arm wrestling, I'm hoping there's going to be some kind of strength training because at least let me see how I compare to other people out there. Then there's going to be some kind of running activity.
Okay.
From what I've seen in the past, it's going to be more endurance than speed. So if you're not able to endure as a man, it's kind of like if you bring out the difference between speed, strength, and endurance, you can have the strength but gas out after a few minutes.
Yeah.
So that already in itself is a drawback. So those part of things are things that I have been preparing myself for.
Oh, how is the voting process done? How is it like?
The voting process, if it's anything like this particular one, it's going to be paid voting. So there would be a link carrying all the contestants. And then when you click on that link, you go through, you select your contestant. I'm hoping Nigerians select me, because who else
Don't
would
worry,
you
we will.
select? So yeah, so when you pick out your contestant, and then the steps on what to follow and how to make your votes, if it is a paid voting, the more votes you select, the more votes the person gets. And if we can end up somewhere in the top 3 with my performance in camp, there's a big chance that we could bring this crown back for the first time to Nigeria, to Africa as a whole, because an African has not been Mr. World yet.
Really?
So it's a lot of pressure.
Okay. Aside modeling,
Yes.
what other things do you have passion for? I
First,
know you are a nurse.
yes,
I know.
that's where I was going to jump right on. So yeah, first of all, my job as a nurse. I love taking care of people. There's something about seeing someone who you have no connection with, someone you do not know from Adam, but the person is right there at your mercy. And then you being able to do all that it takes to ensure that that person is back at 100%, it gives a certain kind of fulfillment that you cannot get from anything else in this world. So that is one thing I have a very big passion for. And then the next thing would be education about health lives, healthy living, those things. There's a lot of people around the world that they know that, okay, yeah, my physical body. I've met people that up until they have some kind of complication or some kind of illness, they don't know that I should go out there and make sure that I don't have anything. And by the time that you're coming to the hospital sick and down, it's already, too far. But if you can catch those things, the English language says prevention is better than cure, right? So if you can spot those things at their early stages, you can easily put a stop to them before they get too far. So everything on health education is something that I love doing as well. And then finally, of course, I love enjoyment, guys. guys, I'm sure there's no one here that does not. So yes, I love enjoyment. I love expressing myself. I love traveling. A lot of my hobbies, cooking. Huh. I'm a foodie.
Okay.
I love to eat. And whenever someone tells me I'm a foodie, the next question I would ask them is, can you cook? Because it's incomplete if you're a foodie and you can't cook. So that's one of the things I have passion for.
Okay, let's come back to your title as Mr. World Nigeria.
Yes.
So we know that with this title comes a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
So can you
delve into that? Okay.
Yes.
So with this, like you have said, with this title does come a lot of responsibility, of which I'm still learning as I go through how to navigate all that. Because this is not just a title in itself. This is a brand. This is an organization that are trying to set out and show the younger generation that this is an option. If you want to do this, you can do this. It allows you to be able to knock on doors that as a regular person you will not be able to do. So this is me out here holding a beacon for everyone that is going to come after me, that you can do this. You can make an impact on the society using this platform. And then also you can help this organization achieve what they have set out to achieve. So that is a lot of the responsibilities that comes with this.
So let's talk more on your big competition next week.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are those things you've put in place? I know models, I know not a lot though. I know they are always probably reading against the intellectual competition, probably doing exercises and all. So what have you done?
Okay, so in my case, I've been preparing for what kind of questions are going to come. I've gone back to past years. I've seen what has been asked. I've made corrections on some of the answers that the contestants there gave. And then also I've been working on my endurance levels, because I believe it's going to play a big part. And then I've been doing a bit more research on what is expected of this year, the beauty with purpose and how to carry that out. So already prior to all this, on my own, I've been doing things, to satisfy myself, not necessarily satisfy myself, but to make my impact, because in doing that is where I get joy. So that's why I said to satisfy myself. So those things are the things I've mostly been working on. And then looking through some of the questions, like the ones we were asked, I've just been making corrections to what mistakes that I have made, or, fleshing out my answers a bit more.
Okay. Do you ever get stage fright or?
Of course, I'm human. Of course, I'm human. Whenever I step on the stage, I get that bit of, fear. But I like to think I'm a different breed, because unlike most people that run from fear, I've learned to embrace the fear, because fear brings out some kind of adrenaline, and adrenaline feels so good, So when that fear comes up, when that adrenaline starts pumping, I've just learned to, instead of running from it, just shake hands with it, accept it in, and let it guide. Because when that adrenaline starts pumping, you think better, you act faster, And then also I then remind myself that this is my thing, bro. Enjoy yourself, And then I just enjoy myself, carry on, groove.
Okay. Now, as we conclude, can you mention 5 goals?
5 goals?
Yes, being Mr. World Nigeria. Yes.
Being Mr. World Nigeria. The very first one, as most people would expect, is to become Mr. World. In fact, I wouldn't even say that's the very first one. I would say that's like the very first 3. Because I have to still remind myself that this is what I'm trying to achieve. Become Mr. World. And not just for myself. Because like I said before, it's not been done yet. A Nigerian has not been Mr. World. An African has not been Mr. World. So that is the first thing I want to achieve. The second one, I want to create awareness, because there's this kind of stigmatization in my profession as a nurse that this is a female profession. But no profession is gender related. Yeah, I like to think I'm a feminist. Why? Because I believe in every profession or in any situation you find yourself, if both male and female have equal qualification or equal duration, or whoever is better in that job should be accorded more respect and should be paid according to what they have achieved or what their qualifications hold, as opposed to this is a man and this is a woman. So that is the second thing I want to put out there. Thirdly, I would like to, because men in pageantry don't get as much recognition as the women. So that is another thing I want to put out there. We are here, and we are here to stay. We are capable. We can also do it. Now, third of all, actually, this should be second, my advocacy. Taking health to all the corners of the world. Reaching out to all those people that don't have the money to get themselves checked out, to all those people that don't have the proper education as to how to tackle whatever situation or medical health issue they're in. Those are the people I want to reach out to. Those are the people that I want to touch. And then finally, I want to lay an impact for the upcoming generation. I want to get to a point someday that when people think about, oh, Mr. Nigeria, Michael Mazi, I want to be like that guy. I want to have people wanting to take this step, wanting to come into this profession because of what I've done. So that is my goals.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael, Mazi-Michael, Mr. World Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to be here.